Okay, so today we are going to talk about our central angles and our arc measures. So we talked about what a central angle was on Monday. Central angles, if you remember the definition, look at your definitions page if you need to. A central angle is an angle with its vertex at the center of the circle, and its two sides are radii. The sum of all central angles in a circle, if you add them all together, you would get 360 degrees. It would go all the way around the circle. So the example of the central angle over here is this angle, this 84 degree angle. That is angle ABC. Okay, so the degree of the arc formed by the endpoints of a central angle is equal to the degree of the central angle. So the degree of the arc formed by the endpoints of the central angle, we're going to look at the endpoints of this angle here, they're A and C. So the arc formed is actually equal to the degree of that central angle. So if the angle here is 84 degrees, the arc is also going to be 84 degrees. So arc AC we found was 84 degrees. Now it's asking for the major arc ADC. So let's follow those letters. From A around to D around to C, we want to know the rest of this arc here. So you know that a circle has total 360 degrees in it. So if we know just this part is 84 degrees, we can find the rest of this by taking 360 and subtracting 84. You will end up with 276 degrees. So that's the major arc there. Okay, so let's look at the next few examples. On the directions for 1 through 4, you're finding each angle and arc measure. So on number 1, if you look at the angle that's given, angle JNK, it tells me is 21 degrees. So let's take a look at each one that it's asking us for from here on. So we're trying to find the measure, that's what that M stands for, of the arc JK. I know it's an arc because it has that symbol over the top of it. So this arc JK is from J to K. It's a minor arc because it only has 2 letters. Now I know from up here in our notes that this arc is the same as the central angle it's directly across from. So if this angle is 21 degrees, so is that arc. So this arc JK is 21 degrees. Okay, next it asks for angle JNM. So let's find that angle. JNM is this angle right here. So if you cover up this part of the circle, what you're left with is this 21 and this angle that we have left to find. So that makes up half the circle. It makes up a straight line, and I know that has 180 degrees in it. So in order to find this angle here, I'm going to take 180 degrees and I'm going to take away 21. And that will leave me with 159 degrees. That is what that angle there is, 159 degrees. Okay. So the next arc that I ask for is arc KL. So I want this arc from K to L. I know it has to go in this direction because it is a minor arc. If it went the other direction, it would be greater than 300 or greater than 180 degrees, and that is a major arc. So KL, the angle that it's directly across from is this angle here. But notice that we already found this angle on the other side, 159 degrees. These two angles are vertical angles, so they're congruent. So I know this angle has to be 159 as well. So that means the arc is also 159 degrees. So arc KL is 159 degrees. Okay, our next arc goes from J to K to M. So it's a major arc, it has 3 letters. So from J to K around to M, I need to take all of those arcs and I need to add them all together. Now, this arc here is congruent to this angle, and I know I have a vertical angle here. So I know that these two angles are both 21 degrees. So that means this arc is as well. So let's add up 21, 21, and 159. If I add all of those together, I should get 201 degrees. Okay, last one on this problem. Okay, I want to find the major arc MKL. So I want to go from M around to K around to L. So there's only one arc that it leaves out. It only leaves out this arc right here from M to L. So what I can do is I can kind of work backwards, and I can take the total degree amount in this circle, which is 360, and I can take away 21 degrees. And that will leave me with 339 degrees. Okay, make sure you have that written down. Okay, so the next few are really similar. I'm not going to work every one, but we are going to work a few. Make sure you don't work anything out though. So let's look at number 3. We're going to skip number 2 for now. So remember that this symbol right here, where you have a little box in this angle, that means it's a 90-degree angle. So the arc that's directly across from it, CD, right here, is also 90 degrees. Okay? I also know that since this is 90 degrees, the vertical angle to it is 90 as well. So I have a 90-degree angle here, where I know part of it is 34. So to find the other part, I could take 90 minus 34, and that, let's see here, what would that leave you with? Okay, that would leave you with 56 degrees. Okay, looks like this is going to be 90 as well, and so is this. So I have 90 degrees here and here. So let's answer some questions. I know that my arc from C to D I found was 90 degrees. See here, my arc from F to D, I would have to add 34 and 90 to get 124 degrees. Now I have a major arc, it's got to be more than 180 degrees, DCF. So we've got to start with D, go around to C, and then go around to F. We could actually just leave out this arc that we just found. We could leave out that 124 degrees. So 360 minus 124. And you get 236 degrees. And the last one, I need GDF. So go from G around to D around to F. So the only thing that it leaves out here is the 56 degrees. So take that out, 360 minus 56. You should get 304. Okay, I'm going to skip number 4 as well. So let's go through number 5. Let's see what the directions tell us here. It says find each value or measure. So I'm trying to find x on number 5. So what I'm given here is the arc from R to S, and I'm also given the arc from S to T. So if you look at how much of that circle it makes up half of the circle, which we know 180 degrees is in half of a circle. So I'm going to take those equations. I'm going to take that 15x minus 26. I'm going to add this equation here, which is just 26. And I'm going to set that equal to 180 because it makes up half my circle. So the negative 26 and the positive 26, they just cancel. So you have 15x equals 180. So you're going to take and divide by 15. And x should give you 12. Okay. Let's look at number 6. So number 6, what we're given here is the arc from H to E, and we're also given the arc from G to F. So let's mark the angles that they're corresponding to. So this angle is corresponding to this one. This arc is corresponding to this angle, and this arc is corresponding to this angle. So those look like vertical angles, and we know that vertical angles are congruent. So I can take these together and set that equal to 103. I can take these and set them equal to each other. So I'm going to take 18x minus 2 plus that 15, because they make up that arc together, and I'm going to set it equal to 103. So I've got to combine my like terms first. So I'd have 18x plus 13 equals 103. Oops. Should be a 3, sorry. Okay, I'm going to take away the 13. So I'd have 18x equals, I'm going to have 103 minus 13 equals 90. And divide by 18, so x should give you 5. Okay, so let's look at number 7. We're going to find x first, and then we can plug it in and we can find our missing arc measures. So these arcs, their angles are here at the center, and they're vertical angles. So that means the arcs are going to be congruent. So we can set these arcs equal to each other. So I'm going to have 10x minus 22 equals 8x plus 12. So I'm going to take my x's and I'm going to move them over first. I'm going to subtract my 8x first over to the other side. So I'd be left with 2x minus 22 equals 12. I could add the 22 over and I'd have 2x equals 34. And divide. So x would equal 17. So that's what x is. And now we need to plug that in and find out what the arcs are that it asked for. So to ask for arc AD first, and we have an equation for that. So arc AD is from A, or out of D here, and the equation would be the 8x plus 12. So I'm going to take 8 times 17 plus 12, and I would end up with 148 degrees. Okay, next it asks for CD. Now I don't have an equation for that, but I do know that this arc is 148 degrees, and both of these arcs together, if you follow the letters here, would make up half of the circle. It'd make up 180 degrees. So I'm just going to take 180 and I'm going to take away 148. and that would leave me with 32 degrees. So this piece is 32 degrees. And now it asks for a major arc here. It asks for the arc from B to D to C. So I'm going to go from B around to D, around to C. So it only leaves out this piece, which we know is congruent over here. So it leaves out the 148 degrees. So I'm going to take 360, the total amount, and I'm going to take away 148. And that will leave me with 212 degrees. Okay, let's flip it over. Let's look at the back. Okay, let's skip number 8. Let's look at number 9. We want to find x first. I have a 90-degree angle here, so that means I have a 90-degree arc here. Now, none of these pieces are congruent. I don't have any vertical angles. None of these pieces split our circle in half, so I can't add any to B180. So the only option I have here is to add all of these pieces together to equal the total degree of the circle, which is 360. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take 8x, I'm going to add 21x minus 12, I'm going to add 10x plus 9, and I'm going to add 90. It's a part of the circle, to all equal 360 degrees. So let's combine our like terms. I'm going to combine 8x, 21x, and 10x. And I would end up with 39x. I'm going to combine the negative 12, the positive 9, and the positive 90. See here, is there anything else? So I would end up with negative 12 plus 9 plus 90. That's going to give me 87. And that equals 360. So now I'm going to take that 87 and I'm going to subtract it over to the other side. So if you subtract 87 from 360, you're going to have 39x equals 273. So you're going to divide by 39 now to get x equals 7. Okay. So let's plug it in for our arcs. For arc WX, so from W to X, you can plug it into this equation. So 21 times 7 minus 12. That should give you 135 degrees. Now it wants YW. So from Y to W would include the 90 and the 8x. So I'm going to take 90 plus 8 times our x, which was 7. And that's going to give me 146 degrees. Now it asks for yx, so plug it in. 10 times 7 plus 9. It's going to give me 79. And then we have a major arc, VXW. So from V, I'm going to mark my start here, around to X, around to W. It only leaves out the 8x. So I'm going to take 360 minus 8 times 7. 360 minus 56. And that's going to give me 304 degrees. Okay, one more piece of information we're going to cover. We're going to cover that arc length formula. So I've given you this formula before, but we haven't used it yet, so we're going to use it today. So remember, we start out by marking it with a cursive L, just so that it doesn't look like a 1. So L is going to equal X times C divided by 360. Okay, I have a specific way that I like to write it, because X stands for the degree of the arc, but C stands for the circumference. So I like to go ahead and replace C with the circumference formula. So this is the formula that I like to write. X times 2 pi r divided by 360. That way you don't forget to plug in anything. So in the directions it says to find each arc length and round to the nearest hundredth. So let's go ahead and get started. Number 10. It tells me from E to B, this distance here is 15 centimeters. So in my circle, that segment right there is my radius. So this is my radius. I'm going to mark that. And I want to find the length of the arc CD. So I want to find this length. Okay. Now, X is the degree of the arc. So I need to know what the degree of this is before I can begin. So if you know that this arc is 68 degrees, in order to find this arc here, I would need to take 180 and take away 68. And I would end up with 112. So 112 degrees is the degree of the arc, not the arc length. You're not done then. So this is 112 degrees. So now I know all the information I need to plug into this formula here. So I'm going to take L equals, X we said was 112, times 2 times pi. We know our radius is that 15, so I'm going to multiply it by 15. And I'm going to divide everything by 360 degrees. So if you want to plug all of this into your calculator all at once, just put the top in parentheses. Okay? So go ahead and plug that in. And round to the nearest hundredth, you should get 29.32. And this is centimeters. It is a length, not a degree. So let's work a few more of those. Let's look at number 11. It tells me from N to R is 8 feet. Now that is my radius. So I know R is 8. I need to know what X is. I want to find the length of the major arc NMP. So from N to M to P. So from here to here to here. I need to know that degree. So if you look, this is what it's giving you. It's giving you this arc, which is 162 degrees. If you look at the angle that it's corresponding to, it's right here. And the vertical angle to that is over here. So these two arcs, they are congruent. So this piece is 162 as well. And that's the one that we're leaving out. So if we're leaving out 162 degrees, to find out what total arc value is here, I'm going to take 360 and subtract 162. Okay, when I do that, I get 198 degrees for X. So now I have everything that I need to plug it into my arc length formula. So L equals 198 times 2 times pi, we said our radius was 8, divided by 360. Put this in parentheses. Go ahead and plug in. You should get 27.65 feet. Okay. Let's look at number 12. We'll work one more of these. So number 12, it tells me from V all the way across to S is 12. So that is actually my diameter. So my radius would be 6. And now it wants me to find the length of UT. So I want this arc measure here. And I need the degree of it before I can get started. So I need X. So if you look here, I have a 127 degree angle. I have a 90 degree angle. That's all the information that I have on the angles. But if you look at this angle go ahead and look for the vertical angle to it. It includes both the 90-degree angle and the angle that we need to find. So I know total this is 127, and this piece is 90. So I just need to take that away. I'm going to take 127 minus 90. That will leave me with what I need, which is going to give me 37, I believe, but let's look. 37, yes. Okay, so x is 37 degrees. So now we have the information we need. We can plug it in. So L equals 37 times 2 times pi times 6 divided by 360. In parentheses, and you can plug it in. So this is going to give me 3.87, and this is meters. Okay. So what I want you to do now is I want you to finish up the problems that we didn't finish on this page. And then I want you to go ahead and start on your homework 2.